Hello, this is Paul from RankWyz and Citations, and today RankWyz Daily is the next video from the series on building better, more relevant and targeted content, and it is a part 4 practical tips on how to utilize LSI for relevancy. I want to emphasize practical because if you want to learn what LSI is, if you want to just have an idea, you don't need to watch this video. Simple Google search will bring you enough information to get a concept in a couple of minutes. Not to say that algorithm itself is easy, but the concept is easy to understand. And it's all related, like LSI stands for Latent Semantic Index, and it's mathematical algorithm applied to the machine learning, extracting the context. So basically what the article is about from the large chunk of text or content. So how machine learns what the content is about. So LSI, it is a mathematical algorithm studying the content based on relationship in the content of terms and concepts. So terms and concepts indeed is very important because it represent evolution of machine learning, specifically how Google was processing the content. Terms and concepts. We'll get to this later. So if you look at the article and it has doc training in, like insurance article that has doc training in, and you have an actual article on doc training, how you know which one is more relevant to doc training. So you extract the all keywords like terms based on the vocabulary and see that doc training used only once, doc training and doc and training used multiple times. So it must be more relevant article for the topic. So this was early days of the search engines when everyone was using what later was called keyword stuffing. So basically you have to match them one by one and have as many doc training appearance as in the article that will be regular doc training article. So the keyword stuffing led to a keyword appear on the title, in the keywords, in the H1, H2 image attributes like alt and title, and all across the text. So it could be anything, but if you're trying to search for doc training, you should have lots of doc training in the content. This way, the lot of content generation of system back then were built. So just basically add on a lot of keywords all across the text. As the machine algorithms evolved and Google were looking for a way to fight keyword stuffing, they added, think about like a very simplified, they added another condition. Well, but in the regular article, you will not find as many doc trainings as that in the keyword stuff article. Instead, you will have a lot of keywords, terms somewhat related, like doc training and let's say doc classes. So Google introduced the Hummingbird. They introduced the notion of the knowledge graph. So basically they moved into some way of creating metadata out of the content. Now they can match it in a tree. Imagine again, simple tree of terms. And if in the database these terms are related, so that is a relevant relationship. If not, so if it's doc training and insurance, that will be something that have like furthest possible distance between terms, and if it's doc training and doc classes, that's close. So they start penalizing for keyword stuffing. Instead, everyone start looking to use what were called LSI keyword. So LSI stands for the algorithm, latent semantic indexing, but LSI keyword and SEO means the variation of term, or as I said, terms and concepts. Concept that is closely related in the knowledge graph to one another, and Google will tell, yep. So there are a lot of terms in the article that related in our graph, in the knowledge graph. So now we kind of understand what it is. And again, so as I said, so you don't need another video to understand the concept. You can search it all over. So when it comes to the practical use, so there's a huge gap. Try to search the recommendation how to use LSI, and you'll find only vague recommendations, so that, well, you can research a lot of related keywords, and instead the repeating the same keyword, you can use the replace it with the LSI variation of the keyword. Again, so I will use two dog training and dog classes. This could be like any breed of different dog of classes, so the dog is related to the specific breed of the dog, and they related. But like when it comes to content generation, how you do this, and I will use the same. And now we're going to the demonstration. I'm gonna use this same content bucket we used in other videos, and this is TV shows using using topics. It's very specific topics: Game of Thrones and House of Cards. I keep using the same. I don't need to repeat what I showed in the previous videos, but now with you can load lots of related keywords from Google Suggest. So how Game of Thrones will end, how Game of Thrones was made, and so on and so on and so on. So not only this is relevant in terms of if you look at this, basically, like, I mean, it comes to judgment. When you say LSI, you said, what's LSI keyword with dentist? Well, you can use like third-party services like SEMrush, related keywords, or you can get some ideas on your own, like say best dentist, best Toronto dentist, and so on and so on and so on. Dental clinic, they must be related. So with RankWyz, with the ContentMill, we have now an option of loading lots of relevant keywords. And I used in the previous videos that you can now use those different questions to build a better content, because instead of scraping for Game of Thrones, we scrape for how Game of Thrones characters should look, which is usually returns much richer content. And I showed in the video, so they can use title that will be very relevant if you use, instead of the topic or just random sentence, you use the combination of 7 beautiful suggestions on keyword topic, and you'll have 7 beautiful suggestions on how Game of Thrones will end. So now we're going to the content itself. So when you create a content, first of all, there are like a lot of evidence to prove that content should be much longer than what it used to be a standard 500 words. So everyone is leaning toward of the 2000 words. But now I show how to put all of those questions, which are Google confirmed Latin semantic relevant keywords, because this is exactly what Google shows as a suggestion when you search for Game of Thrones. They already come from some place where they group Game of Thrones with or House of Cards, and how accurate House of Cards, how realistic House of Cards, how watch House of Cards, and so on and so on. So now when we have title, when I have the content script, how we can stuff all of those questions in the content. Well, first of all, so we're gonna in a second we're gonna go in template, but of course the next part, the next important after title itself would be any attributes, would be H1, H2 attributes, and if you put the relevant, not actually the keyword itself, but the LSI keyword and the subtitle H1, H2, H4, that would be benefit the overall content. And this is what I'm going to show first. We go to template. I already adjusted template, and I see over and over everyone, like a lot of users, so when they create a new content, they look at all possible data sources, and they go like literally all of them, article builder and syndicated and all articles, an image and video. In this example, I show pretty much repeated set of blogs of subtitle and syndicated content. So as already said, we're searching, we're collecting content using all of those questions. Now, when we build the content, I use an image. After that, I use syndicated content. You will notice I increase everywhere the sentences. Now, I think by default it's 8 to 10. I increase it to 15 to 20 to make a bigger chunk. And after that, I have subtitle. And I select preset titles and I use topic keyword shortcut with a question mark. So we have, and of course, the same way as you have in titles, you can add prefix and suffix to the keyword the same way that I showed in the titles. Let's say that will give more variations for the subtitles. I use it as they are. So like, let's say if I have 500 keywords, 500 searches, questions related to a specific topic. So there will be a lot enough, and there will be kind of a mixed and different position for every article. You can see that. Subtitle, syndicated, subtitle, syndicated, image, subtitle, syndicated, subtitle, news, video. That's all. I don't use any others because I'm looking for content. I use the content we scraped, the aggregated based on the specific questions. So now, like you can tell that all subtitles are the same. You can use variation of tags that will give more of the variations, but I use all H2 to make them look the same on the page. I use preset titles and I use topic keywords question mark. Go to activate. Let's see. So we have first article, and you look at the title. It's 11 incredible facts about how can I watch House of Cards season in Australia. There's House of Cards image, and after that there's syndicated content. Clearly on House of Cards, and then we have subtopics. Why House of Cards is good? Those questions coming from Google. Like, if anyone knows better than like no one knows better than Google that those are questions related to the topic. When House of Cards, House of Cards casting call May 18th. Those are all popular questions, and you don't need to try to make sense of them. Google knows that they're popular, that they stored in the suggested queries. How many House of Cards episodes are there? So now we have pretty decent article, as I said. So I have image, I have syndicated content, and after that, the same set of blogs. Subtitle, syndicated, subtitle, syndicated, image. Let's refresh to see more articles. We have 5 incredible facts. That's 11. That's 5 best trusted news about does House of Cards have another season. Let's do Game of Thrones. Best information about when is Game of Thrones starting. So we have title, best information. We have syndicated content, and after that we have H2 subtitles that is highly relevant, but it's not exact copy of the related topic to our topic. So I'm sure you get an idea, and you can repeat it, and it's pretty simple. And again, so there are 2 things. I use a lot of subtitles. I use topic keyword shortcut to stuff the relevant question from the topic, and I use a longer content so that everything, all contents created, see that's 2800, pretty large. 2000, 1800. So it's because I put a variation everywhere. 18 to 15 to 20 sentences. You can see that you can improve quality of the content if you use left aligned the image first, and somewhere down it's better if you use centered. So this is first. Next, if I go to templates, image, and you can see the title attribute I use again topic keyword shortcut. So now we have not only keywords, the LSI keywords as the H2 attribute on the tag on the content, but they also appear in the title. You can actually enable them for alt or title. You can do exactly the same if you do some spin text to give more variations. So we have, let's say we have 5 subtitles, title attribute. There are a lot of questions will be appear like the question that Google knows is highly relevant to the topic will appear throughout the text. And another step, if you still think it's not enough and you can do even more, you can go to citations and use exactly the same topic and use it, let's say, another 4 times. That might be excessive, but again, so I show the all possible variations, how you improve the LSI relevancy of the content. And as I said, this is practical steps you can follow to create your content that if when Google parse the content and spread into the terms and concepts, there will be a lot of extremely relevant concepts without the text. You're looking in the quality of the scraped content and say, well, Google of course knows that the character is related to Game of Thrones and something else, but all those questions are extremely relevant, and we get this information straight from Google, so we know that it's exactly Google information. So again, so we have subtitles, LSI and subtitles. Well, I showed in another video, so you can have LSI in title. You can see spin text number and incredible facts about topic keyword. You can use them in citation. That will be just regular instance of the text randomly included into the content. And you can format them, because recent study found that, again, that Google kind of gives like lever to the formatting of the term appearing in the article. I mean, bold or italic. So if they emphasize it somehow, they will consider this as slight indication towards the importance of the specific term. And using the subtitles with keyword. So this is all for LSI relevancy. And again, so you can it doesn't really matter how good your knowledge about LSI, but if it's come to the system what you use and that suggests to dump in all bunch of somewhat related keywords, doctors, best doctors, and keep your fingers crossed, hoping that the content will end up relevant. So this is how you can really control the quality of the content. And tell me if you don't think that this content is good for PBN that you can have once in a while visitors on. It's pretty decent content. You can add more of the media, you can add more of the images and videos, and pretty decent content. Again, if you are looking for the content that is not newsworthy, you don't need to put a lot of emphasis on the news, because news content is coming from news releases that it's not always relevant to the, let's say, Game of Thrones. So you might find once in a while. And indeed, I use in the this is the one of the last content block is actually news. You can see that the show starts again on July 16. It's very newsworthy information about Game of Thrones. But of course, there's only so much of the news that's relevant, and you can build very decent content right off the syndicated content if you combine the topics, if you use the relevant questions, if you stuff the questions into the subtitle, images, and spread it over the content with citations. So that's all for this video, and there's another video, the last video, that was actually the best part of the changes we made with the ContentMill. I'll just give you a little hint. If you have any big sites that you built with the bulk indexing, bulk page creation, where you have all the pages related for different topics you want to target, I'm referring to what generally called SERP shaker type of sites. So now you will be able to backlink them with the absolutely relevant content, even you didn't create the content with RankWyz. So this video is coming, and up until now you can watch this video. If you didn't watch the beginning of the series, I'm pretty sure you'll find it beneficial. You can contact me at pavel@rankwyz.com and leave your comment in the Facebook group or our community page. Thank you for watching, and thank you for using RankWyz. Have a great day.